apologize for the short notice on the change of venue for our meeting tonight, but despite approval of our meeting dates, a year ago the council chamber was mistakenly double booked. So this evening, and I guess the planning commission had a higher priority than us, unfortunately. So I'll ask you all to stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Secretary Bartlett, will you please call the roll?
Trustee Crawford.
Here.
Trustee Dooley.
Here.
Trustee Mitchell. Trustee Wood is absent. Trustee Yu. Present. Trustee Joseph here. Trustee Chair Curry. Student Representative Carcarla. And Student Representative.
Okay, thank you. I'll ask for an approval of the agenda. Are there any additions? Trustee Misher?
Actually, so under page 3, number 8, it should be board business, but staff is there, so that should be put to the director's report for DEI. It looks like we had a meeting, so it's
Actually, if I could speak to that, I do have a little bit of an update. I can give, there was a mistake in the information. I can provide information for you.
Oh, no, what I'm asking is like, it's under board business, so technically it should be under the staff, under the director's report, not under the board committee.
Well, it is a board committee,
It is, but we haven't met.
but it comes along with all the other boards, whether they've met or not, they are still listed.
Right.
Board committee.
But what I understand is, you know, I did check this before I brought it up, I tried to remember. It says staff, DEI committee members, update meeting held. That is, to me, in my opinion, that's misleading. We have not had a meeting, and this is staff. This should go under the director's report, like all the other.
Any other comments about it? Okay, so we can move it. I mean, you move that, but the committee will still stand in order with other committees. I mean, it's a listed committee. We haven't eliminated a committee.
No. Maybe you misunderstand me. I hear what you're saying. No, I'm not asking for DEI to be removed. I'm asking, see, under,
Oh, I see.
do you see what I'm saying, Kathy?
Sure.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Trustee,
No,
President.
that's okay. No problem.
Is
I
that-
don't stand on.
Okay, thank you so much.
this
I'm just
kind of
gonna restate it so everybody, and just in case anyone else was confused that heard me. So I'm happy with DEI being there, absolutely, okay? But under, staff, DEI committee members, update meeting held, that should go under the director's report. That's all I'm saying.
I will point out in other committees, under other committee reports, though, there is also a staff update in other committee reports as well.
Yeah, then those should be under director. They're not board. We haven't, as a DEI committee, we have not met.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that as part of the process, the agenda process. I don't know, does anybody have any other discussion about it? Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Through the chair. Trustee Crawford, I have a quick change on the minutes on page 15. In the first paragraph, it says Julie Dooley instead of trustee. So I just want to make sure it says trustee.
It has a nice ring to
It
it.
does. It
It
does.
does have kind of a nice little,
It does have a ring to it.
sounds like a dance.
That's all I did.
Okay. All right, any other additions or changes? Okay. Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended. Okay.
Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, and we have a second motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none. Okay, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Trustee Dooley.
Yes.
Trustee Mitchell.
Yes, thank you.
Trustee Yu.
Yes.
Trustee Bartlett votes yes. Trustee Chair Curry.
Yes.
Trustee Crawford.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Okay, thank you. We're moving on to the consent agenda removals. Are there any removals on the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as printed. We want want to make the motion? No. Member Bartlett? Bartlett makes the motion, second. Okay. Member Dooley makes the second. Okay, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll. Oh, any discussion?
Any discussion?
Sorry. Okay, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Trustee Mishner?
Yes.
Trustee Yu?
Yes.
Trustee Bartlett votes yes. Trustee Chair Curry?
Yes.
Trustee Crawford?
Yes.
Trustee Dooley?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Okay. Thank you. We don't have any presentations tonight, and now we'll move on to our first public comment. So in order to hear all citizen comments at a reasonable hour, the library board requests that speakers respect the 3-minute time limit. This is not a question and answer session. However, it is an opportunity to voice your thoughts with the library board. I will remind the audience that remarks should be limited to those pertaining to the board business. And inappropriate, profane, vulgar, or abusive language and personal attacks will not be tolerated. Citizens should state their first and last name and their address. So, board, you can begin.
Good evening, Jason Mishner, Novi resident. So inform, inspire, include, that's the library's motto. Unfortunately, the board has been operating under delay, defer, deny when it comes to DEI issues, most prevalent Juneteenth as a paid holiday. With President Crawford voting against it twice, and all 3 members of the Finance Committee, trustees Bartlett, Curry, and Wood voting against it 3 times. However, I am hopeful tonight because the information in the packet seems to address all the concerns that those board members had over making a paid holiday, mainly cost, its addition to the benefits package, and whether or not the staff and community went on cost. We find that it's only $2,016.06, which is easily containable, I would imagine. However, there are some concerns about COVID and damage to the power to the IT equipment because of the storms. But since Fund 268 has a $2.5 million reserve, I think you could fund those one-time costs with something like that. As far as ongoing costs, for the last 5 years, probably even longer, we've operated under a surplus under Fund 268, with the most recent, even under the duress of COVID, having a $42,000 surplus at the end of last fiscal year, which would easily fund Juneteenth as a paid holiday into the year 2041. So I think that addresses costs, and I'm sure the board is more intelligent enough to figure out how to offset $2,000 a year. On the issue of benefits package, we see that Novi is not at the top, more mid-pack to lower as far as benefits with 10 paid holidays. We see the federal government and the state library, the Library of Michigan coming in at 11 paid holidays. West Bloomfield Library, very similar community to ours, has 13, and even our own city has 13 paid holidays. So I think we don't have to worry about being overly competitive. And then as far as whether or not it's wanted by staff and community, the staff overwhelmingly voted for it as an option on their survey, most recently put out to the staff library, to make Juneteenth a paid holiday, period, no extra additions or twists. And the community has been asking it for months. So I am hopeful that now that those concerns have been addressed, that one board member, not Trustee Mishner, since she has fought so hard along for this, another board member would put on the docket today to make a motion to approve Juneteenth tonight as a paid holiday and not make us wait any longer and end the cycle of delay, defer, deny. And now that you are informed, I hope that you are inspired to include Juneteenth as a paid holiday tonight, as it is your ability and prerogative. Thank you very much.
I'm going to ask the audience that we would appreciate no clapping or comments and everything. It's part of our procedure, our board procedure, that we do not have any audience participation. Go ahead.
Trumpy, Harvest Drive.
I'm sorry, can you move closer to the microphone? It's a little hard to.
The microphone closer
It's
to me.
better. Thanks.
Okay, can you hear me?
Sharon, can I approach you? I just want to make sure it's on.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's, I want to just double check.
Oh, well that, turning it on is usually helpful. Is that better? Okay, I'll try and talk my loudest. 174 days ago, this board unanimously approved a statement.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, don't mean to interrupt, but did you state your name?
I
Your
did
address?
before the microphone issues.
okay.
Would you like me to start over?
Please.
Could you restart my time? Thank you. Sharon Trumpy, Harvest Drive. 174 days ago, this board unanimously approved a statement by President Crawford, which reads in part, quote, "The Novi Public Library is committed to ensuring that every Novi community member, library guest, Board of Trustee member, library staff, and volunteer is treated with dignity and respect. Discrimination, bigotry, and racism will not be tolerated. 146 days ago, the board received a formal staff complaint against trustee Sheriff Curry, which stated, quote, "It is my belief that he is mismatched for the DEI committee and doesn't do this service." 118 days ago, a community member made a public comment at the library board meeting sharing her concerns regarding trustee Sheriff Curry's public social media posts. 83 days ago, trustee Mitchell made a formal complaint against trustee Sheriff Curry, alleging that he had mistreated her during a DEI committee meeting. 69 days ago, a community petition was delivered to President Crawford demanding the removal of Sheriff Curry as DEI chair. Over 280 community members have signed the petition. 55 days ago, President Crawford announced that she was pausing the board DEI committee indefinitely. She stated that she believed she could find offensive content on the social media of, quote, "any other person on a committee or commission in this city," unquote. This is perhaps true of President Crawford, as her own social media includes, quote, "Can we still order black coffee? Are brownies being taken off the shelf? Is food possible to its name? I'm sure Cracker Barrel is screwed," end quote. 20 days ago, trustee Sheriff Curry approached a young black woman after the library board meeting and told her that his social media posts were made up in public because, quote, "nothing I said is offensive," end quote. To briefly review, his posts include referring to Vice President Harris as a skank, mocking a transgender actor by questioning how many closets there are, and contending that the police killing of Eric Garner was the mob, quote, "getting more than they had asked for." Trustee Mitchell serves on 3 board committees, DEI, bylaws, and policy. Since she made her formal public complaint against Chairman Sheriff Curry, not one of these committees has held a meeting. During this time, every other board trustee has had committee meetings scheduled. It appears that not only has the DEI committee been paused, but trustee Mitchell has been effectively excluded since lodging her complaint against trustee Sheriff Curry. This looks like retaliation. 174 days ago, this board unanimously supported a statement that every board member would be treated with dignity and respect, and that bigotry would not be tolerated. How many days will pass before you keep your word?
Anyone else? Now we'll move on to reports, and we'll ask our student representatives to please give us their report.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Rita Kalir. I am the library student representative. First, I will speak about the tween and teen library programs. Can you guys hear me all right? Okay. The Helping Children Prepare for Emergencies with the American Red Cross program was held on October 7th. Guests learned how to make an emergency kit and even took home their own pillowcase to decorate and packed their own emergency kit with the pillowcase project by the American Red Cross. There were 11 in attendance at this event. The Let's Draw Monsters virtual cartooning program was held on October 20th. Award-winning cartoonist Rick Stronovsky showed guests how to draw creatures, goblins, and ghosts, and all things Halloween. 18 people were in attendance at this event. The Creepy Crawlies program was held on October 26th at Lakeshore Park. Dan Greer from the Little Creatures Corporation shared information about various reptiles, arachnids, and other creepy crawlies. Dan also allowed for up-close viewing and touching. There were 20 people in attendance at that event. The Between the Pages Tween Book Club Trivia program was held on October 27th. Guests read Small Spaces by Catherine Arden and answered trivia questions relating to the book. There were 5 people in attendance at that event. The Craftastic Wednesday Chalk It Up Chalk Lettered Sign program was held on October 27th. Guests learned techniques to create a unique seasonal hand-lettered sign with chalk paint. 10 people were in attendance at that event. The final event I will speak about is the Grab and Go Diwali Kit, and that was held on October 30th. Guests were able to register to get a Grab and Go kit to recognize Diwali, the Festival of Lights. This included supplies to decorate a votive candle holder. There were 36 people in attendance for this.
Now I will speak on the Teen Space. Teen Space began on October 4th, and just during October 21st, there were 94 guests who visited Teen Space. There's no Teen Space on October 11th, 22nd, and the 28th. Now we'll move on to Teen Advisory Board. The second Teen Advisory Board meeting for the 2021 to 2022 school year was held on October 29th. The meeting was started with the welcome of CAD President Farheen and Mrs. Bojack, the Information Services Librarian. Following the welcome, teens participated in an icebreaker to help to get to know each other. Ms. Ojak provided an update on the MSU, Novi Rotary, and TAP October School Supply Donation Drive, and reminded the teens that this was the final weekend for donations at the library, and to please spread the word. The remainder of the meeting, the teens were split up into 3 breakout rooms to form committees based on interest. 1 was the teen programs at the library, 2 was community service projects, and 3 was teen staff displays. At the end of the meeting, teens shared ideas and gave feedback on their respective committees. The attendance was 4. Now I'll move on to upcoming programs. There's a Between the Page, which is a teen book club trivia night on December 1st. There's a Tail Wagging Reading Buddies on December 8th. There's a 3rd Teen Advisory Board meeting and for the health of the teen edition. The importance of eating healthy and the proper rest on December 10th. Craftistic Wednesday, Home for the Holidays on December 15th. STEM Gingerbread Engineering on December 16th. And Grab and Go Winter Solstice Day. And this month's teen style display featured young adult fiction, thrillers, and mysteries in the theme of Halloween.
Thank you so much. Now I'm going to move on to Teentober. Teentober is a new nationwide celebration hosted by libraries every October. And it aims to celebrate teens, promote year-round teen services, and the innovative way teen services help teens learn new skills and fuel their passions in and outside the library. To promote Teentober at NPL, throughout the month of October, teens in grades 7 through 12 can participate in our Bingo Challenge that will be available in Teen Stuff. Thank you to Ms. Dana for creating this fun, eye-catching bingo sheet. Completed bingo sheets were turned into the second floor information desk. Thank you.
Well, it sounds like you've been very busy. I really enjoyed the Teentober information and everything. I thought that was really interesting too. And of course, all the things that you're doing. We really appreciate all the work that you do. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having us here, and thank you for the public comments.
Okay. Oh, member trustee, member trustee now. Okay. Trustee Mitchell. Yeah. Sure.
Okay, no, I was just gonna say, I can forget the name, and I just wanted to flag on that. It's hard to forget anywhere these days, right?
That is amazing.
I just want to encourage you.
Anyone else? Comments? Okay. All right. Under President's Report, at the October meeting, the board requested Director Farkas to send board training requests or an RFP to Dr. Marks and Dr. Meadows. Both, however, declined the invitation to submit a proposal. Dr. Marks stated that he did not have the time. However, Dr. Meadows indicated he currently has personal family obligations until January 2020. And in as much as we are entering a very busy holiday season for families, it's reasonable that this board would be better prepared for training, I think, after the holidays. So Dr. Meadows has agreed to continue working with us for the agreed price and has already indicated a suggested process. Therefore, we will be moving forward with Dr. Meadows. And Director Farkas, do you have anything to update us with or any further information to add? Okay, and the Treasurer's Report, moving on. Director Farkas, in view of the fact that Member Wood is not here tonight, is there anything you wish to update us on the Treasurer's Report?
There isn't. If you look at page 28, that's the start of the budget for 268 and 269. If you look at C, that's the financial report for October 2021, which is on page 32. That actually goes through and gives you a brief highlight of all the information financially. So if there's any questions, I will try to answer them.
Okay.
If not, I might have to look into it when I get back. But I didn't receive any questions either prior
Okay.
to.
Members, any questions? Okay. All right, thank you. And now the Director's Report.
Just a couple anniversaries to mention for the month of December. Emily Brush, Information Services. She is one of our librarians, specifically working with our preschool community. We are very much appreciating the services that she provides in 6 years that she's been with MPL. And then Shannon O'Leary, Information Services as well, and Shannon is our International Language Librarian and also has been with us for 6 years. Following is just a little bit of information about the cafe. It's been open now since October. There's a photo of Rebecca, who has been the new cafe manager that was hired through Chartwell's and our partnership with the school district. And so far so good in terms of the hours 9 to 5 at this point. I think they'll look, with the school starting later for the high school, I don't believe they're gonna go to 7 a.m. just because they were doing that time in order to touch base with students prior to school starting at 7:15. Now that it's later, the 9 o'clock at this point seems to work out well. They might look at maybe 8 prior to school starting, but they haven't made that decision yet. Then I also included information about Patron Point, which has become our new newsletter. We changed from Constant Contact to use our new software, and that's going out to over 20,000 cardholders on a monthly basis. There is an opt-out option always on this in case someone does not want to receive it. Then there's some COVID information still, and the reason why I wanted to just highlight this very quickly was that we're still under 1,000 in terms of average of attendees, and prior to COVID, it was about 1,500 that we were seeing guest-wise in the building on a daily basis. So we're getting back up, but you know, still less than 2/3, I guess I would tell you at this point, but doing better. And I'll be happy to entertain any questions.
Sure. So Patron Point seems great. A great way to get a hold of card holders. What electronic system do we have that gets a hold of people who don't have cards? Do we have anything like that electronically? Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I mean, I don't know how we would connect or contact with, all we have is card holders at that point.
Well,
We added the constant contact people, so if they were, and then we can also, if someone opts into the newsletter, and if someone reaches out, we can add them per their email, based on a request. So we can do
Okay.
that as well, so it can go to other people that are not card holders, but it has to be initiated by them to let us.
It has to be invited.
Yes.
So because I was thinking about Peach Jar, like, you know, we didn't necessarily opt into that, but everybody gets it, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, actually,
Trustee Chair Curry, go ahead.
following up on Trustee Mitchell's question, what does the city do as far as, how does it reach residents for all those various?
I believe they're still using constant contact.
Is that opted only there, Liz?
Yes, you have to register for it.
Okay. I was wondering, that's, something we could latch on to try and grow our subscriber base or something.
In terms of their database?
Their database, or at least just sending out something in one of their emails saying, you know, get the library newsletter, click here or something.
I can check into that.
May I? Thank you. I know Cheryl Washington Boy has the 6th, so I wonder if that's what the time is. I am not a tech person, but I read it. So that's just a thought, like, I know sometimes library news is in there, so that's a thought maybe you can look into.
Member Chair Curry, another question?
Yeah, just, I don't know the right way to address it, but I was wondering if youth members had any comment on the starting time of the cafe and change of during school year starting.
I don't really come to the cafe before school. I go after school sometimes. What do I do?
Yeah, I don't either, and I don't really know anyone else who does come before school, but I know there's a good amount of students that come right after school, around like 3:30.
I do know some kids do like that coffee before school, so maybe like have them within 15 or 30 minutes before school opens, maybe a good idea.
Thank you.
But there's no epidemic of kids falling asleep first hour.
Okay, yes.
Director Farkas, for the patron point list, when we were in constant contact, we only were reaching about, was it 2,500 people?
Correct.
But now with patron point, we have opted in, was it over 20,000?
It is.
Okay, so it's like 22,000 people we are touching. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, Member Howard.
Yeah, so I'm patron point. Is it only active cardholders and that we're sending out to, or?
Yes.
Okay.
It's only active cardholders. or when you go to our website, you can actually join into the news, which is now PagerPoint, the option. So you can initiate being part of it if you're not a card holder.
Okay. Alright, then like if my card expires November 1st, but I can't remember a newsletter or that I cut off that. Because I forgot to or something.
I don't want to answer that, let me check on that for you, trustee you, because I
It's a
believe,
grace period, right?
yeah, let me just check on the timing for it.
You're well, good. Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you, everyone. And now it's time for a second public comment. So once again, in order to hear all citizen comments in a reasonable hour, the library board requests that speakers respect the 3-minute time limit. This is not a question and answer session. However, it's an opportunity for you to voice your thoughts with the library board. So citizens must state their first, last name, and address. However, even though we want you to voice your opinion and your thoughts, I remind the audience that remarks should be limited to those pertaining to the board business, and inappropriate, profane, vulgar, or abusive language and personal attacks will not be tolerated. The citizens must state their first, last name, and their address. Anyone coming forward?
Sharon Trumpy, Harvest Drive. Making Juneteenth a paid holiday was first discussed by the library board in June 2020. In March 2021, the current board voted against Juneteenth as a paid holiday 4-3. Trustees who voted against the paid holiday said that they recognized the importance of Juneteenth, they just had some questions and concerns. The board members said they placed a high value on fiscal responsibility. How much would a paid holiday cost? Tonight, we finally see in the board packet that the cost of one paid holiday is $2,016.06. That's $5.52 per day. In comparison, legal fees for the library for July, August, and September have totaled $6,773.50, including the attendance of the lawyer at the board meetings. When voting against Juneteenth as a paid holiday, Trustee Bartlett said, quote, "Our employees get 10 paid holidays. I'd like to see how that compares to the city," end quote. I am so pleased that Trustee Bartlett's concern is finally addressed. In tonight's packet, we see that the City of Novi gives its employees 13 paid holidays. Additionally, Waterford Library, St. Clair Shores Library, Portage Library, West Bloomfield Library, the Library of Michigan, the State of Michigan, and the federal government all give employees more paid holidays than Novi Library does. Board members also wanted to hear from staff about holiday schedules. In tonight's packet, we see the results of a staff survey with 5 options for holidays. The highest number of votes was for adding Juneteenth as an 11th paid holiday. This option was even more popular than adopting the City of Novi paid holiday schedule, which would give the staff 13 paid holidays, but not Juneteenth. With all of the board's concerns addressed, I am expecting that everyone on this board will be clamoring to vote for Juneteenth as a paid holiday tonight. You've all stated that you recognize the importance of this holiday, and now you have a chance to show it. I'm surprised it's not under matters for board action. Maybe the truth lies in the August 26, 2021 board meeting, during which Trustee Bartlett said that Juneteenth is being sent to the Finance Committee because he's being told, quote, "It's your job to tell me why I can't do it," end quote. I wonder who would suggest to Trustee Bartlett that he should find a reason not to pay for Juneteenth. It does not seem like something that one would do if they value the holiday. President Crawford has cautioned against making knee-jerk decisions, an issue that has been discussed since June of 2020, and by the members of this board since March of 2021 is not a knee-jerk decision. You know that the Novi Library gives employees fewer paid holidays than the City of Novi and numerous other comparable libraries. You know that the staff wants Juneteenth as a paid holiday. You know that the cost of adding Juneteenth as a paid holiday is about $2,000. Is recognizing Juneteenth worth that to you? Or is Trustee Bartlett right and you are simply looking for reasons not to pay for Juneteenth? No more delays, no more questions. It's time to show your staff and your community whether or not you value this holiday. Vote tonight on Juneteenth as a paid holiday. Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Are there any other, sorry, are there others who want to come forward?
Good evening, Willie Mena, Yorkshire Drive. One of my most proud accomplishments was being part of a team of 4 back in 2007 instrumental in jumpstarting the bond campaign that raised $16 million needed to build this beautiful building. I also had the privilege to serve on this library board from 2008 to 2014. Our board, along with Ms. Farkas and her team, had a lot of significant challenges and accomplishments back then. We successfully built a brand new library under budget during a recession. We doubled the size of the library while keeping the staff size the same. We kept the library running at peak efficiencies despite shrinking revenues. We found ways to increase programs, and quality continued to improve during that time. We grew our usage base significantly, and then in 2011, we received the Michigan Library of the Year Award. So you can understand why I might have a strong personal connection with this library. But I've become extremely dismayed as I watched many library board meetings over the past year or so. Let me share with you why. I watched this board allow agenda items to be added at the beginning of meetings, cheating community members of opportunities to weigh in on those topics. I watched this board allow votes to take place multiple times on the same issue, as if somehow the vote was going to magically change. I watched as personal agendas have taken over priority over library business. I watched as well as allow agenda items to come forth that were beyond the scope and domain of the Novi Library, and I watched as board members personally attack other board members. And it gets worse. I watched as 2 former board members walked away, deciding not to apply for reinstatement due to the harassment and intimidation by some community members. I watched as similar harassment forced the former board president to resign. I watched as a member of the DEI committee decided they would no longer want to serve as a member, clearly because of the unfair treatment that was being endured. I watched one day, or I should say, and now I see social media video posts being created with the sole intent of intimidating and harassing a board member. This is the state of the Novi Library Board meetings today, and I don't know when it will improve. I suspect that we will see more changes on this board as terms end. In the meantime, it would be helpful to update your governance rules to allow to disallow personal attacks from employees and community members. This is a great library, but you wouldn't know it from watching your meetings. Please know that I do appreciate those who truly take and keep the best interests of all Novi community members in mind when rendering their decisions. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Jason, Mr. Novi resident. So I find that a fascinating rendition of the history. What I've seen over the past year is a motion started after George Floyd was murdered in the streets by the former president of this board, and other motions seconded, for example, Trustee Wood, who actually brought the motion to make Juneteenth a closure of the library, and then later in August of that same year said that it should be a paid holiday like June 4th, and then later walked back his decision. I've watched that. I've watched the board back away from backing DEI initiatives when in June of 2020, they were gung-ho behind it and all for it. The very next month, they pulled out of every single thing that they said they were going to do. There's one board member on this board that has been true to what she has stood for ever since she was first appointed. You can go back and look at when she was first appointed. She's always said that she's been about diversity and inclusion. She has not changed or wavered in her standpoint and has been crucified by her fellow board members and other members of the public. When she has stood up against discrimination and unfair treatment, she has been tormented by the other board members. She has been removed from being able to operate on the communities. Even now, President Crawford has said that we would prohibit the DEI committee from meeting. And all other committees that the trustee Mitchner has been on has also stopped meeting since August. I don't think that there's any coincidence. I think there is really only one problem here, one problem that the community and one trustee of this board has been trying to make abundantly clear for over a year now. The problem is treating citizens of Novi with equity and inclusion. We have a diverse population here in Novi. Nobody here can claim credit for that. It just happened to be, and it's a great thing we have. Where the work needs to occur is of making those diverse members feel included and then providing them equity when they have something to say and they bring something to the table and consider it seriously. I don't see a reason to not have Juneteenth be a paid holiday. All objections and concerns have been addressed at this point, yet no one has made a motion to add it to the board. I have seen the president use power to add items to the agenda last minute, yet despite saying that she does not like knee-jerk agendas or motions. I have seen great discussion happen here on the board, which is what a public meeting is for, so the public can see the board make decisions. Decisions don't need to be made prior, they can be made at the meeting with good discussion. You were all very educated individuals, otherwise you wouldn't have been appointed. So I don't see the problem with bringing motions to the board to have them voted and discussed in front of the public. It is the public's library, and we have a right to see what you are discussing. You can prepare in advance, that is equally okay. Both matters are acceptable. I don't see one as being underhanded or inappropriate. So I would say that if you address the actual issue of diversity, equity, and inclusion, you will have a functioning board in a library again. If you do not, you will not be able to get past this. And this great library, as mentioned earlier by a member of the public, will continue to suffer for this one cause. You have the power to change it. You can start tonight. Thank you.
Hi, Betsy Beaumont, I live on Cranbrook. I wanted to, well, I'll be honest, I wanted to not be here this evening. I have a lot going on at home. But I am so moved by all of the conversation that's happened here. And I really feel it's important for us to really think about why we have such an obstacle to creating diversity, equity, and inclusion in a building that says that is one of its primary goals. So I'm not sure how exactly it happens. I can't speak to how anyone's heart is. I can just tell you that I know, for me personally, it matters a great deal to me as a parent of white children, having grown up in this city as a white person, that everybody that lives here feels included. I think that my children have gotten such a better experience and prepared this for the world because of the diverse population here. So I know everyone has very different thoughts and feelings and different goals, but I know we've also talked a little bit about wondering what the library staff would say about this, and I know Mrs. Trumpy commented on this, but I just want to make sure everybody fully understands the library staff has said their preference would be to have work for free, essentially, 2 more days in order to have Juneteenth off. So if I, as an employee, said to my boss, I care so much about this issue that I'm willing to give up 2 other paid holidays in order to celebrate that, I would think that would be something I would want my boss to care about. So I think that's all of you. And I'd really like you to consider that your employees have just said that they will work for those 2 other days so they can have Juneteenth off. Which really would mean that we would be gaining, like what, $4,000, right? 2 less paid holidays. So it's now financially in your interest to allow this to be a celebration. It's in our community's interest. And I think that when we look around this room and we see how many people are here, I can tell you that for most of the last year, there have been 2, maybe 3 people that have come to these meetings. I think people care about this issue, and I think the more people find out about it, the more heartbreaking it is. Please, just do the right thing. Create equity in this building. Serve diversity with your Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. That is its purpose. That is why we created that committee. That's why diversity committees have been created all over, to allow everyone a seat at the table. So please, again, I say, please do the right thing for your community and your staff. Thank you.
Anyone else? Committee reports. I asked the chairs of the committees if they have anything to add to what was in the board packet. You see the policy committee did not meet. The HR committee has not had a chance to meet again. We will be meeting shortly. It's important for the board members, though, to look at all of the data that was collected. We discussed this at the HR committee, and we asked for additional information. That's the way we make good policy decisions. If we collect the data and we have time to digest it and discuss it at our meetings, and We haven't met since we've collected all this information, we haven't met. But I have asked for the committee to make a recommendation to the board, and that will be coming. And I guess the finance committee also has not met, and there was nothing that we could add to that. The events marketing, Chair Dooley, did you have anything to add to your report?
I don't. All my notes are in the packet for everybody to read, but if you have any questions,
Okay. Strategic Planning Committee? Did you have anything to add besides?
Well, the only other thing we have is the survey.
Okay.
We did,
I get it.
we did have you have a survey in front of you. There were some questions that was sent out to existing library patrons. There were some questions on why we go to the public at large.
What's happening?
Anyways, I just. The purpose of this is we're trying to gain more data because we're in the budgeting phase and where where our priorities are versus, we're looking at, removing going fine free, a number of other items plus the labor problems that we're going to be facing over the next couple of years because of COVID. And there's also our annual report. If you look at our annual report, there's no secret on here. 64% of our budget is employee costs. Those employee costs we anticipate in our budget meeting are going to increase significantly because of inflation and the other problems that are out there. So we're trying to build that into that, and we're trying to get more information on what our patrons, our current patrons, value, that's what the survey is.
Do you have any idea when those results will be tabulated and come to us?
This,
Or
we have-
that
You
is,
have- this is
okay,
just the survey.
this
This is the
is
survey.
tonight though, this is
Yeah.
the first we see.
yeah, this is the first week. I cut it off yesterday just to give you a snapshot for now, but we are still taking them. We'll see how long and if we get any more results, but I just wanted to give you something to start with.
Okay, we'll have a chance to take a look at it and really think about that. And Chairman Yu, did you have anything to add to your report? Okay, and the bylaws committee did not meet and no other further meetings. Director Farkas, you had something to add to the staff report on DEI, was it?
Sure. So we've added 2 additional staff members. So our staff committee gets a little larger with some interest. And that was based on having our in-service in August, and we had a couple other staff interested in being part of it. Tuesday, October 12th was the last time the staff met. I am receiving some volunteers for the various categories of the ALA scorecard that we're looking at in order to put information together and see where we fall when it comes to DEI initiatives. There's 5 categories of this particular scorecard, so it's embeddedness of DEI into our culture and climate of organization, training and education, recruitment, hiring, retention, promotion, budget priorities, and data practices. So those are 5 categories that we're looking at through the ALA scorecard. Also, I want to put a shout out to Nicole Williams, our HR specialist. She has done an excellent job with the implementation of training opportunities for our staff. And we've had the opportunity to have the Anti-Defamation League with a topic on examining unconscious bias. And we had a gentleman just 2 weeks ago, Cornelius Godfrey from the Troy Public School District, speaking about the day in the life of an African-American male and sharing experiences with our staff. And then we also had a TLN experience, which wasn't recorded, but all of our staff and board members, I made that available to you in terms of the DEI topic as well. So these are just things that are going on with the staff and our team.
There was also was there another visit to the then Catasfara temple?
We did.
Was there a staff visit? Or?
It wasn't staff, I did not have any staff. It was actually a board member. Yeah. But I'm looking to hopefully do one where we can invite more staff over for the opportunity.
Trustee Mitchell.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm really concerned. I just heard a great report, but it belongs in the director's report, and that's what I was talking about in the very beginning. I think I'm concerned because DEI is a standing committee. I founded it. We were all unanimous in making this, so it's a big step for us. It was an awesome thing for us, and as people continue to voice their concerns on either side, I hope they understand that this is for the whole community. It isn't just for black people, it isn't just for white people, it's for everybody, okay? So the heart behind it that I believe when this committee came into view was that we had work to do, but we were ready to do that work. I'm concerned because after I made my complaint about August, when I was talked to about cotton picking, being a black woman, that's just not a good thing to do, to talk to a black woman and talk about cotton picking and defend it and things of that nature, but you have that complaint. I was told I have a big personality and there's bickering, and then all of a sudden the meeting stopped. I was also told that I didn't have to be told that the meetings would stop or pause, but I was told that at any point, if you actually quoted this, President Crawford, that at any point, if you wanted to stop a committee from meeting, you just told them not to meet that month. And I told you that would be very poor leadership. So I'm very concerned because it seems as though, I deal in facts, right? It seems as though, since all of that happened, I have been benched as a trustee. Let me be clear. When I became a trustee and I took Willie Minna's spot, thanks Willie for warming it up for me, I was excited to be here. I think it was referenced that in the beginning, I've been consistent. You can go backwards. Me, Julie, and Bill Waller are actually interviewed on beyond books. And the same things I'm saying today, I said then. My hair wasn't great, but I said the same things, okay? I said that I believe in diversity, equity, and inclusion. I believe in this community. I believe in making it better. I have been benched. My professional duties have been stalled. It is obvious retaliation. It's not okay. And then I sit and I listen to a great report. You are doing great work, but it belongs under the director's report. I, as a person that's supposed to be a governing body, a person of this body, have essentially been benched. There's no work for me to do. Even if I attempt, it's taken away. And some of the things that I have done have been put under staff as accolades instead of being given to me as credit, and that's fine. I don't need the credit. I have a job and I do well. But I think, what I really want to bring here, and what I really want to see change in, is actually doing the right thing. Do you know how disappointing it is to hear all of these things and to know that you've essentially been told you're paused without a really good excuse as to why we're paused, and then hear all of these things happening? So it's not that you don't believe in DEI, but for some reason, I don't get to be a part of that, and I don't understand why that is. I'm the only person that doesn't chair a committee. I know you said that you tried to give me strategic planning because I have experience in that. I do not. I don't know where that came from. What I asked for was DEI, and it's okay that I'm not the chair. It's not okay that it's not happening under a board level. We should be the leaders. We should be setting the stage. Staff and board members and library systems are different. I don't just make this up. I am an educator for the Michigan Library Association, for Library of Michigan. I will be speaking at the Public Library Association Conference in Oregon next year. I got myself educated. When I first came here, there were a lot I didn't know about libraries. I do now, and that's why when I bring something up and I say this should be here, I'm not just having an attitude or anything like that. I'm saying it because I want us to do the right thing. I want Willie and other people to love this library. I feel good about this library in many ways. I don't feel good about what's happening on this board. People come up to me and they tell me they feel sorry for me that I don't even know. That's not okay. We can do better. Somebody in public comment last month said, what do you want your legacy to be? We can do better. We can do better. Speaking of public comment, when do we answer those people? When do we get back to them? Do we just listen and say, thank you for your comment, and do nothing? The community has spoken, the staff has spoken. We have to step up. I am benched and I don't like it. I was asked to do professional duties. I don't get paid any money, I'm okay with that. But I do want to give my expertise, which there's a lot of.
I don't know what to say about your feeling about being benched. You have not,
It's a
there's
fact.
never been any effort that you have been benched on a committee. I have offered you committee assignments, I've offered you a committee to chair. You did not want to be on that. I kept you on the DEI committee, but you know, part of the problem has been that the DEI committee has not been able to function as a board committee due to the bickering and the problems that have been going on.
I don't know that. I don't know that that's a professional way that, and I guess that's my concern. It sounds like retaliation. It sounds like someone said something to you that was offensive and racist. You complained to the proper parties, and then you are not allowed to be on that committee anymore. You just said, I know why that happened. I don't know. I know that in my job and in the work I do, if somebody has a complaint about the way they're treated, action is taken to help them. Not to say, now you can't do anything. You just sit and come to the meetings and don't be involved in the committee at all.
Well, we are not saying that you can't do anything. You certainly can do something, and I have applauded you in the past
You have, and I
for
appreciate
your expertise and for your assistance and for all you've done in the past. But because of the board problems, you know, this conflict that we're having, that is one of the reasons why we decided that we were going to need training, and we have to have conflict resolution training before we can move on with any topic. We really need to learn to how to work through the conflicts that exist. The conflicts that exist has nothing to do with diversity, equity, and inclusion.
But it does.
It has to do with conflicts and personality clashes that we need assistance with, and so we've asked for an outside person to come in to help us with that. Until then, the committee really can't, is not functioning.
I'm
It's
a
just
mental
not
health
functioning.
professional. I deal with all types of personalities, some that many people can't deal with. I could deal with any personality. I cannot deal with someone.
You
with
haven't
me.
been able to deal with the
I
personality.
No, you know what? I have. When someone says something to me about contemplating as an African-American woman, I actually said that's inappropriate. So I came to you for help with that. So should that be on me to figure out how to fix that? Should I be retaliated against because he said something that was offensive? And continue to come and put my big boy pants on and say that I should have came to his house for a beer? These are inappropriate things. It's not professional.
I agree.
So I'm just asking for help, and I feel like I've been quiet about this a lot. But it's been a quarter, you know, it's been a quarter, and I feel retaliated against, and I can't, you just told me, I haven't been able to deal with that personality. Why would you want me to? Why wouldn't you step in as a leader? I was president before. I'm very proud. I just need help.
Well, I don't think we need to, I don't think there's anything else that we can say. You're going to be having the training, and the training is going to help us through some of these
Is that gonna
conflicts. So,
change the dynamic though? What will that provide? And I say that because I.
well, we don't know until we have the training, do we? I mean, we really don't know.
So what if he
We're hoping-
continues to say things like that, then I'm benched while he continues to say things like that?
You are not benched. You are not benched. You see, other committees are not meeting either. It's not anything about you. It really isn't about you. There's not anybody being benched.
You just told me the problem is me because I.
No, I
didn't
have
handle
not
that.
said the problem
Well,
is you.
You said that there's a personality I can't deal with. I can't. Did you not say that?
Well, I don't think we can debate this here and now. I don't think
Well,
that
it's a
there's
public
anything we
meeting,
can say.
so, this is
So
what I wanna
what do you suggest?
I'm asking for you to open the committee back up. I wanna do the work.
We
I
will be
have to-
opening the committee back up. We will be having meetings again as soon as we have additional training.
Next year, is what you just said. Is that concerns
What,
me?
yes, next year,
That's
next
so
year.
bad.
Because the work is still going on.
No,
The
it's not
staff,
at board level, though.
the staff has been doing all of the work anyway. The staff has been doing the work. It hasn't been board members, it has been the staff
Oh, no, I was
doing the
doing
work.
work, and you can check our record of some of the things that, as we were telling the staff, I have created.
Well, you may have created the work or offered the suggestions through the board, and you've done that, but the staff actually is committed to doing the work. They really are,
I've given
and
my
they are
whole
doing the
record
work
this
now.
year. I've done everything I can. I poured myself out. I made bags. I literally have done the work.
And we appreciate all that. We really do. We really do
I'm just
appreciate
saying,
all
like,
that.
it's just that I wasn't the one doing the work, just telling people. I just want to make sure that that's clear.
Okay, well, maybe, I mean, I know that you contributed a great deal, and I have told you that. And I've told the whole board that you have contributed a great deal. We just need to resolve some of the issues that we have in conflict. And that's all. That's all we're trying to do here, is to become a better board, you know, and so that we can learn to get along. We really can't proceed much with any projects and activities if we can't learn to get along better.
I can get along as long as someone isn't using our race as a weapon against me. And if they are, I can actually address that. I can deal with any personality type, but I'm not going to let them do that and be okay with it. And maybe that's the issue, that I'm not okay with it, I'm not quiet.
Those are the things that we're going to be discussing in this training. Those are the kind of issues that we will be discussing in the training.
I appreciate that. I'll just lastly say, in the meantime, I'm not involved in my committees, and that concerns me. My professional duties are to be involved in committee work, and that is not happening.
And what committee besides DEI are you being benched?
And none of my committees are muted.
Well, I know that there's been, I do know that we have asked you for your schedule so that we could meet for one of the committee meetings, and it just, the scheduling of committees is a problem. I mean, it's something that has to be done. But anyway, I'm good.
Let me just say really quick, I have been on this board for 7 years. Guess what? I've never missed a meeting, ever. 7 years. My dad got paralyzed, he was in the hospital, I was here. My son got taken away in an ambulance, I was here. My record is bar none. I'm not saying that to brag, I'm saying it because it's facts. So I don't miss meetings. I want to be clear on that. I want to be clear on that.
Member Bartlett.
Well, you know, on the meeting standpoint, I'd like to use the positive example first.
Okay.
I mean, first, I'm on the marketing committee that's chaired by Trustee Dooley and with Trustee Yu. Trustee Yu is a school teacher, Trustee Dooley is in business. Our schedules are as absolutely mixed as you could possibly get. But when we say, okay, we need to have a meeting, it's scheduled far enough out in advance, and people work around things. Just this last Monday, we said, okay, we need to move a meeting to arrange around us, around Director Farkas, and I had an appointment far off, you know, with a month, and I said, I'll try to move it. I moved it. And the other meetings, there's other groups and other individuals that when we get together, it's all what we can't do. I think we need to all look at this and what we can do. And when somebody comes along and says, okay, because I've set out a list of dates and said, okay, you know, next week, here it is, here's 4 days. And I find, you know, those 4 days are all bad. And I said, we're all very busy people. And, you know, we all have to figure out a way to accommodate each other and to make these things happen. And I don't see it in all groups. I do. I have to commend, you know, Member Dooley, who's on the committee, and puts it far enough out in advance. And I know Trustee Yu has, you know, school starting. He's got all kinds of things going on, but we make it work. And I think, you know, everybody really needs to get on the committees and need to figure out between the small groups of committees and figure out how to make it work, rather than this is where I am at, this is my world, this is my schedule, and get together and make it work. That's just my
In our last meeting, I did put something out and I didn't get a reply back. So if that's towards the end, I just want to clear that out, but I did set that out.
Okay. Well, I mean, all of us have to work on the committee meetings. We have to make an attempt. Everyone, I'm sure, is going to make an attempt to have, you know, to set a timeline for the board committees. Yes.
Hi, I apologize for interrupting. I just wanted to ask, may I propose a motion to add a topic to the agenda so that we can discuss?
You can't put that seat, because you're not part of the board as an actual board member.
All right, okay, thank you.
Okay, we're going to move along. Matters for board action. There were no matters for board action this month, and there were no communications, and we do not have a closed session. So I will call your attention to the calendar indicating the next meeting is a change in date due to the holiday. We'll be meeting Wednesday, December 15th, and it's our hope that we will be in the council chamber at that meeting. And just so you know, and I am truly thankful for all the people here in the audience. I'm also truly thankful at this, as we approach the Thanksgiving season, I'm thankful for each and every board member here. and our youth that are here that help us, bring us information and everything. I'm thankful for the staff of the Novi Library. So your diligence in making the city a better place, and also this library in particular, making it a focal point in our community, which is this library has been a focal point in our community. So I wish all of you a very happy Thanksgiving. And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Member Misher? Okay. And is there a second? And I have a second. And any discussion? Okay. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Trustee Yu.
Yes.
Trustee Bartley votes yes. Trustee Chair Curry.
Yes.
Trustee Crawford.
Yes.
Trustee Dooley.
Yes.
Trustee Mitchell. Motion passes 6-0. We're adjourned.
Okay, hopefully we'll see you in the council chamber next month.